So, welcome to the show, Bruce from E-Bello. How are you, Bruce? Are you well?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How are
Good, good.
you?
At the very best, thank you. Well, if anything, we've been wanting to get you on the show now for a while, but just been failing to do that because we've just been so crazy busy at the moment. But it's great to have you finally on the show. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so
Indeed.
much.
Now, there is a purpose why we have you on the show, and we mentioned it there as a part of our introduction, E-Bello. Now, we will talk about that. But first of all, I want to talk about yourself, first of all, and your background in the piping scene. Have you got any experience in that, in the piping world yourself, Bruce?
I do. I do. I've been playing since I was 11 years old, and
Hmm.
I'm no longer 11 years old. I'm about to enter my seventh decade. So I started playing actually just north of New York City with a Boy Scout band,
Hmm.
and was sponsored by local electrical union, and been playing but pretty much solidly with local street bands and some competition bands all the way through up to the Manchester Pipe Band in Connecticut, which actually played at the Worlds a couple of times before I actually joined them. And then I went on to actually run for 10 years a college band, Trinity College of Hartford, Connecticut. And been now I'm now in Delaware and I'm starting another band. So
I
that's my
see.
world.
I see you're starting another one. I see you're a glutton for punishment then, Bruce. Yeah.
My son just shook his head. He just shook his head.
Oh goodness. Well, good luck with that, indeed. But if anything, we could talk about your piping history and all of that and what you're up to at the moment. But we do have you on for a very specific reason.
Mhm.
That is E-Bello. Now, for those watching the video right now on YouTube or our Facebook page, whatever, we're now looking at the website. So this is ebello.com. So it's e-bello.com. Go and check this product out. Now, whenever we first stumbled across this, and then yeah, we were fascinated looking at this. Tell us about this. What is the E-Bello or E-Belaire? Yeah.
Well, the E-Belaire is the product, and we settled on that name for it. But the purpose of it is to provide a supplemental air supply for the bagpipe. Now, it sounds like, well, who would need that?
Mm.
There's a very specific case which we can talk about. A friend of mine became disabled in terms of his ability to play the bagpipe due to a medical condition, and it required him to have surgery, which basically removed his ability to blow. And what happened truly was that I was sitting with his wife at the hospital after his recovery, after he just come out of surgery,
Hmm.
and and I had said to her, like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but there's got to be a way to get David back up on the pipes. Now, David and his brother Ian have been kind of, buddies of mine in the piping scene up in Connecticut for, oh my God, at that point, probably about 10, 15 years.
Hmm.
And you kind of, how you get around with your mates, you kind of just, your buddies, you just kind of do everything together, especially in the piping scene.
Yeah.
And for him to be kind of pulled out of that was just really shocking and frankly unacceptable. So I kind of have been on a bit of a quest, and it's taken me about 10 years, 11 years to put together a workable solution. But I never stopped trying, and things went from air tanks on your back, and
Oh
trailing along
goodness.
with a little
Right.
trolley behind you, and I mean just some nutty ideas.
Yeah.
And the last couple of years, the technology kind of came together and allowed me to put together this solution.
So this is an assisted kind of bellows system that you can wear on your body that helps run a set of Highland pipes, basically. Would that be right?
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually the unit weighs about 4.5 pounds.
Hmm.
It uses a rechargeable, basically standard drill battery, and it provides enough power to operate the bagpipe. You're not going to play the hardest reed in the universe, please, but it at 32 inches of water, that's a respectable reed, and the instrument sounds really fine. So he is able at this point to participate in full band starts and stops, and basically it operates, normally as we would normally consider it. You can do a 3-pace roll start,
Yeah.
and at the end, when you are ready to stop, you basically shut the pump off using the mouthpiece, and it has a flap valve inside, and you just squeeze off as you normally would.
You
So
see, now you've just answered all my questions. I was going to ask you about striking in and getting that perfect cutoff. So this is possible with that product then. Yeah.
it is now. Let's face it. It's like any start or stop.
Mm,
You have to know your instrument. You have to know your behaviors in terms of blowing.
yeah.
And so this definitely has a learning curve to that skill, but it definitely can be developed to the point where I was playing it in our band, local band here,
Hmm.
and the pipe major came over to me and he's looking at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm not blowing. That's what I'm not doing,"
Hmm.
because I was able to nail the starts and I was able to nail the stops. So so the other question that keeps coming up, I don't know if it's on your list or not.
Go ahead. Let me see. Yeah.
How loud is this thing?
Spot on. Yeah, that was going to be my next one. Yeah, just because I have visions of this thing like chugging away and you hear dun 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 dun. But is it as loud as that, or how loud is it?
Okay, so I'm always looking to try to get it softer, but right now it comes in at about 50 decibels, 58 decibels at about 6 feet, which means
Hmm.
when it starts up, you definitely hear you hear that.
Right.
But as soon as the drones strike in, it disappears entirely.
Right. So
And
it
if you
sits
listen,
underneath what the pipes are doing, really.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And the other thing is, it doesn't. I mean, I'm not an acoustic engineer, so so I have a part on my website called Quibblings. Here you go. Under Quibblings, I'm sure people who are really going to listen to this thing in person are going to say, "Well, I can hear a harmonic." Well,
Oh, I see.
maybe you can, but if you're in a parade and you're playing with 16 other pipes, nobody's going to hear that harmonic. And frankly, I don't hear the harmonic
I
once the
see.
pipes are tuned.
Yeah, and funny, there's another point that I was going to ask you about electronic pipes. I know a lot of people who have had breathing difficulties and stuff, especially post-COVID, and that a lot of people have found it difficult getting back on Highland pipes after having contracted COVID. So they have went down the electronic bagpipe route. But this could be a possible solution where they could actually get back onto proper acoustic Highland pipes then.
Exactly. Even with David, we as a band we purchased him an electronic bagpipe to kind of keep going, kind of
Mm,
stay in the game here, but it's limited. You're still dragging around an amplifier or trying to find an amplifier that gives you, and the sound is, I'm going to get killed here, I'm sure, but the sound is a simulation. It's not a bagpipe. And with
mm.
all the harmonics and all the undertones and all the excitement and frustrations of playing that wonderful instrument.
Yeah,
Uh, but so this is the first practical device for those who want to continue to play the bagpipe, but for whatever reason are limited in that ability.
I see. Yeah. So it honestly is a fascinating idea, and I'm sure a lot of folks will have some very strong opinions on this. So what I
Oh,
would recommend actually is to go to the website, all right, e-bellow.com, where there's various different video demonstrations and stuff as well, I have to say. Now, we're not going to be able to look at these here right now in the YouTube clip, but we'll edit these in towards the end. And as well, for those listening on the pod, we'll edit in a very short clip of a chap actually using this system. So walk us through. We're looking at the shop here right now. What products do you have on offer, for folks to pick up? So obviously you have the bellow system itself, but there's a bunch of different hoses and batteries and things. What's all this that we're looking at here?
so the basic system is the E-Belaire, which comes complete. It comes with the battery, it comes with the hoses, it comes with the strap and the bag and all that.
Hmm.
There's an additional hoses can be purchased also for small pipes, by the way, because it's completely variable pressure from
Hmm.
zero all the way up to the max. So you in the picture of the gentleman wearing the clown suit. He was
Hmm.
playing his Gibson small pipe, mouthbone small pipes, um, using the E-Belaire.
Ah, I see.
So I just,
Yeah.
we have an adapter that will fit small pipes as well. The extra batteries can be purchased, and there's one that I haven't put up there yet, which is um, uh, an adapter with a port in it for a gauge, so pressure gauge. So you
Oh,
can,
yeah.
so that leads to another use of this, which is since COVID made
Mm.
blowing on reeds like nothing my wife would allow me to even consider, nor would I personally. But anyway, safety becomes a real issue now, something we didn't
Mhm.
really think about before. How long did you take a drone out, pop it in your mouth, blow it on, and
True.
what?
Yeah, exactly. We spoke about it on the show hundreds of times. Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
provides a mechanism for safely abstracting yourself, your body, from testing another person's bagpipe and getting a reading on what are they actually blowing, what is the air requirements of that instrument.
Mm.
So I've been using it in my band all the time to help people get set up, and
Yeah.
even in my students, like, how many pipers you've seen with a blowpipe coming out of the back of their heads, because it's just too long. So,
Yeah.
I've been using this to, like, say, okay, here, put this on, hold your instrument at the proper posture,
Hmm.
and then we can measure definitively what blowpipe you need. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
simple thing, but that
It-
causes a great deal of aggravation.
It's a great
It also,
application, though. Yeah, it's a great,
yeah,
great idea. Yeah.
I also use it for teaching tuning. So I'll cork the drones. I mean,
Hmm.
I'll cork the chanter stock
Yeah.
and lay the thing on the table, and then have them actually tune the drones. It doesn't matter where to
Oh,
tune
right.
it. So I mean,
Yeah.
it has a whole. I'm finding a whole range of uses for this device other than just helping somebody who has a disability, or
Mm.
at this time, um, but I'm using it as a teaching tool and
I
as a way
see.
of transitioning people to the pipes.
Yeah, honestly, it is so fascinating, and as you say, the range of use that you have at your fingertips, and as a result of purchasing this, yeah, that's honestly very, very exciting. I have to say, and that's what the reason why we're featuring it on this week's show, because it is such an interesting idea. Now, there's one thing that I am concerned about. Us here in the UK, we're well used to it with playing in all conditions, and we know that moisture is a factor whenever we're playing, and we know that reeds need a certain amount of moisture. But using a system like this would be blowing dry air in through your pipes all the time. Would there be any way to kind of heat up the air that goes through it, or even moisten it somewhat? Is there any, workaround for that?
Yeah, actually, interesting. Here in the States, it's not quite as bad, perhaps. I mean, depending on where
Mm,
you are in the States. I'm in the middle Atlantic, so our humidity is, pretty good. We're
yeah.
always about 50, 60, 70% humidity, 60%. To answer your question, the bottle traps, the water bottle traps with
Hmm.
the used to call them, I'm doing ShamWow, those moisture absorbing cloths in there.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
I just moisten that, leave it in the bag, and that seems to be just fine. I've got some feedback from several people, and that hasn't been one of the problems.
I see. Excellent. So that little thing is enough to keep the moisture circulating through the bag and everything. That's fascinating. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't managed to trip you up at all then, Bruce. You've got me. So yeah, I'm absolutely sold on this idea. I think it's a great kind of leg up, I suppose, for folks who perhaps haven't been able to pick up the instrument again post-COVID. And I think it's such an incredible idea from that point of view, so that a lot more people, as a result of this now, can possibly pick it up. Yeah. So again, I know it sounds like a shameless plug, but for those of you watching the video right now, or even listening on the podcast right now, please do go and visit the website and see what we're talking about. So it's e-bellow.com. There you are. And there is like different demonstration videos and stuff as well. Like I haven't went through every tab on the website, but it is honestly a fascinating product, and one of which that I think you should definitely check out, especially if you have someone in your life that you know hasn't been able to get back on pipes again, either for a disability, for an illness, or just for any multitude of reasons. This would bring the instrument back into their hands again, Bruce.
It does, and it's also, as I said, finding its niche in teaching.
That's it. Absolutely. So there you are. I have to ask you then, any future plans for eBello? Because I know what inventors of such products are like. Once they have the product out there, they're never finished. They always come up with something else. So have you anything else in the works?
Well, at this point, we're going to try to make it a little more robust. I mean, more power. You know, this is like
Mm,
you can never have enough, right? So right now, I'm looking to just try to boost it up a little bit in terms of its power and also to reduce the sound. We're looking to get a little bit more in the dynamics of is it affecting the acoustics? So I'm going to be looking to get somebody to truly measure it out
mm.
and see, you know, if we need to make any adjustments to that. One final thing. The biggest fear I was struck by this. When I showed this to one of the adjudicators in our local, pipe band association,
Mm-hmm.
their eyes got very wide, and the fear was amazing. They,
The
they went,
fear.
well,
Why the
I'm looking to
fear?
help. We're looking to help people. And they went to like, what do I do with somebody coming in front of me at a game?
Oh, that's a fair point,
It
actually.
is.
I
That's,
don't know if there's anything in the rule book against such a thing, you
there
know?
isn't, there isn't, but I got them talking.
Oh, hi, that's a very interesting discussion on that point there. So I would love to see how that one pans out, actually. But
So,
yeah,
yeah.
very interesting stuff. Well, Bruce, I have to say it's a smashing product, one of which that I'm absolutely fascinated with. And you say the amount of uses you have for this, yeah, I don't know. The mind boggles. I'm just trying to think. There's like so many different ways now you could use this. So, as you say, it's completely across the range, not just for Highland pipes, but for small pipes, shuttle pipes, all of that. You just need the appropriate adapter and everything. So, yeah, I am absolutely a fan of this. So, go along, check it out, e-bellow.com. That's where you can go and see all the information on this amazing product. So, do you have any other points of contact, Bruce? So, if folks have any other questions on that, where can they reach you?
Sure. It's sales at ebello.com will get us. And
Mhm.
that's probably the two easiest ways of getting a hold of us at this point.
I see. Perfect. Well, thank you, first of all, for taking time to chat with us here on the show and telling us all about this product. It honestly is so interesting. And yeah, I hope our audience go and check it out. And yeah, as we say in our show, you can draw your own conclusions. Yeah. Thanks a million,
Well, thank
Bruce.
you for the opportunity to talk about it and for your support. I really do appreciate it.
No problem at all. Thanks a million.
Thank you.